Hi, I'm Dave Crane. Now I also do gigs like this. And I can train you to be able to work with people like this. And then you also can do gigs like this. Come join me and we'll take your speaking to a whole new level. Wow, I was miles away doing lots of different things. How are you? Good to see you. My name's Dave Crane. Welcome back to Speak on Stage. Really busy show today. Loads of really important stuff to share with you as well. But it's always important to ask you first how you are, because I like to know that. If you're not feeling good, then it's no point me carrying on. I'll just stop the music and wait for you to feel better. Yes, how are you? See, some people don't care. They just do a show and just go, yeah, whatever. I don't care. But I do care. I want to know that you're joining me with the right frame of mind. Because I want to elevate you and lift you up and take you somewhere really special. So at the end of today's session, you will feel that you've learned something and you're a better person. Stop music. And being a better person is subjective. It doesn't mean you're a better person than other people around you. It's a better person than you were before we started working together. Because if we don't have that, then we have nothing. And you know what's really important when we think about things like that? We have to think about the fact that if we have nothing, then why are we here? Why do we cling so hard and so close to the things that really matter? When all around us is just ephemeral stuff that people don't really appreciate. That's the key to life. I don't know what that means. I just thought I'd just try making stuff up and see if it sounded intelligent. And it was kind of weird, to be honest. I'm scaring the dog now. I've got Snow coming over and going, arr, 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 arr. Hello, Snow. Come here. You've not seen my dog before, have you? All right, come here. She's come here. Up. Come here. Give me a hug. A hug. Come here. Oh. You see? It's my doggy. Yes, it is. Okay, you can go now. Good girl. Right, out. Just to prove I'm not just making it up about having dogs. Right, you can go. Yeah, I'll give you all the stuff later on. I was an agent just calling and saying, right, the minute that dog goes on, you start paying extra, mate, in biscuits. We shouldn't say that word. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, you have to go. Love you. No, out. Out. Ooh, that look she gives me. That look, that pain look, like what I've actually done is I've actually just stuck an arrow in her heart. And she doesn't know anything, because she's always got a long face, she's a dog. But she's just got that look on her face that just kind of makes you go, oh, you've wounded me with your inhuman attitude. Well, it'd be human attitude, because she's inhuman, because she's a dog. So, yeah, quite clearly I've done some bad stuff as far as dogs are concerned by bringing her over, putting her on my show, and clearly not feeding her as a reward. I will pay for that later on. I'm home alone. It's really strange. Daughter's gone to school. Wife's gone for coffee morning with two friends. So they're going to sit there and we're going to put the world to rights. Or I don't know what they do. What women, you can tell me, ladies, what is it that happens at coffee mornings? Because I wasn't invited. And the excuse for that is, it starts with this. Are you doing your show today? I do my show every day. Yeah, I will be. What kind of time will you do it? Probably the same time as I always do it. Well, what do you mean? What's mean? Why are you saying Well, because I was just thinking that maybe I had some things to do. All right, what? I mean, we're in lockdown virtually. You can still go out, but there's not a lot to do, to be honest with you. It's pretty quiet out there. Yeah, but I thought I'd catch up with the girls. Oh, stop. The operative thing here is the girls. You notice how she didn't say, I'd catch up with a few close friends. Would you like to meet them? It's quite clear the girls, and you're not a girl. You might be physically growing there because you're not working out enough, but the fact is you're not a girl. So with that, you can stay home and do your show. I said, what time are you going to be back? She went, oh, later. Now, the thing is, when you say later, it doesn't mean you've got a plan. It means that you know exactly what time, but they may do other stuff. And they may go somewhere else. And they may do something else. And you're not allowed to know. And it's basically what you say to your parents when you're a teenager and you're in a bad mood and they ask you questions. Like, where are you going? What time do you think you'll be back? Later. I'll just be back later, okay? That's what happened to me. Without the attitude bit and the spit. I apologize for that. Anyway, I'm just sharing with you my world because I think it's kind of important you know who I am. This is today the show. It's all about this. It's all about making money. I have got for you today, at the very, very least, something like 35 brand new business tips for you. Some will overlap and will show different sides of the same coin, but some of them will be, oh, really? I didn't think so. This is fantastic. So, if you haven't got it already, get your coffee, sit down, hold on to the furniture, or don't hold on to the furniture, you're going to need a pen and paper. We don't actually need a pen and paper, because probably what you can do is just do a screenshot of the things that interest you as we're going along. Or you can watch a video again later, but you're going to have to hear all the stuff and get the dog comes in, and I talk to my wife, and I remember the kiddies going to school, all the rest of the stuff. If you don't want to wait for that, get a pen and paper now, and then we'll get started with the show. And when you're ready, we'll begin. I've got my coffee. I've got a delicate cup today. Look at that. You know what this cup's for? Let me just stop this. This is my coffee morning cup. You know, I normally have like superhero cups, or ones with big Union Jacks or stuff like that. This is my sophisticated going out with a ladies cup. Do that with my hands. You see that with my hands? That's me being sophisticated. My going out with a ladies cup, because around about now they'll be having coffee and we'll be having sandwiches or I don't know what we eat. Probably a cat or something. I don't know what we're eating. But right now, it's good coffee. They'll be sitting there and they'll be saying things about me. I'm not paranoid. I just know the world revolves around me. So it doesn't really. Right, so we've got 35 killer tips to share with you. We've got also some great videos in the reaching out section where we've got 20 great business tips, which is part of the 35. Manufacturing tips if you think about growing something. We've also got Gary V talking about how to start up your business, which I think is fascinating. In fact, I might swap that around as we talk amongst ourselves. I might put that there. And put that one there. That's better. So we're going to start with Gary V. We're going to then go on to 20. Shush! It's so noisy. Shush. Thank you. Much better. So we've got Gary V. Then we've got 20 manufacturing tips that you need to know. And then I've got a little clip about mindset, about the fact that you don't have to be the most talented person on the planet to be successful. There's other factors involved. And that's me speaking at the Deals in High Heels session with Brad Prestige, which is very cool indeed. So that's coming up. Then what we're doing is we're going to talk about potential side hustles and 4 things to consider when you're starting a side hustle. If you don't know what a side hustle is, it's about the ability to start your own business on the sly. Well, it's not even on the sly, it's a side hustle. So 43 million people in America in 2019, I don't know what the figures are this year, but I would think probably more. 43% of people in America had, I think, oh, was it 43%? No, I think it's 43 million people, not 43%. 43 million people in America had a side hustle to make money on the side as well as their main job. Why? Because they want the security, want the extra money, and because they want to do something they love, as opposed to a job that maybe they don't love quite so much. So it makes perfect sense when you think about it. So what are those figures now and how do you start it? We'll be sharing all that with you later on in today's show. And then I'll be giving you the next 15 business opportunities that you need to consider, and this is really exciting. If you don't know and you just joined us, welcome to Speak on Stage. We're broadcasting live, by the way. This is what the show is all about. My name is Dave Crane. 35 killer business tips from this year to the next that you really need to be considering when you're thinking about what you're doing and how you will really improve your business. With that, we're going to be sharing a ton of stuff. You need to make some notes as we go along. Going out live to LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope into Twitter, and maybe Instagram if you're very lucky. But make sure you subscribe. Subscribe on YouTube. I'll put it on YouTube, so we'll be going out live to the YouTube. And that way you get to see all the secret stuff that I don't share with everybody. And also you get to see all my catalog of videos. YouTube's the only thing that actually acts like a library of video. So when you do a video, it stays there forever. And so the idea is it's like growing a library in your garden. You plant the seed and it grows and grows and grows and grows, and grows. Then becomes a monster giant beanstalk. Doesn't it really, just probably stays about that size. But the point is, it's really interesting to see what happens with that when you put a video onto YouTube as opposed to everywhere else. So subscribe and join us over there because I've got all my old videos, things with rugby sevens, things with hypnosis, things with tons of stuff that you will not have seen me do anywhere. Every now and again I drop some into this show, but there's a ton of stuff I won't drop because it's really embarrassing and I haven't got around to cleaning it all up. So that and more coming up. Ways of making you money, don't you know? Ways of taking you on a brand new trip, don't you know? And also, with all that in mind, I'm going to... Should we start with... I want to start with Gary Vee, but I'm just wondering where's all that gone. Where is it? Where's the Gary Vee thing? Oh, it's moved to there, is it? Who moved it to there? Goodness me. Not there. Put it here. Just can't get the stuff. All right, then. So with that in mind, let's start with Gary Vee anyway, because it's kind of cool. And then we'll move on to talent versus success. Yes, we can. Then we go on to the... Oh, we'll just make up as we go along. It's non-stop. It's a big party, and we never get bored, do we? No, Dave, we don't. Okay, great. In that case, let's continue. Reaching out now on Speak on Stage.
The internet was a fad. Remember that? People made fun of me when I did email marketing instead of making a wine catalog. The hell was email? It's stupid. People made fun of me when I started a YouTube show a couple months after YouTube came out. What was YouTube? Where will it be tomorrow? Right? People definitely made fun of Twitter. People have definitely made fun of Snapchat. This is what people do. They fear, they don't take risks. And so when I started talking about documenting versus creating, I want to tell you why I did that and why I think it's important for so many of you in this room. My friends, whether you like it or not, whether it fits your philosophical point of view of where the world is, you are a media company before you are anything else. And I mean you as a human being. That's just the reality of the marketplace. If you were able to understand that and realize that you're a media company, comma, you're a SaaS product for farmers. You're a media company, comma, you're a salesperson at Facebook. You're a media, comma, you've got this startup. If you can understand that, it changes everything. It changes the way that you think about the world. If you are not talking in these platforms, my friends, this is it. And by the way, this will be gone one day too, and I can't wait to come here in 7 years and be like, this? Fuck you, this is over, you suck. But this is it. And if you are not communicating about what you're trying to accomplish effectively here and contextually differently in every platform predicated on how the consumer thinks about the platform when they're in it, AKA when a woman is on Pinterest and has aspiration of shopping and buying, her mind's in a different place than when she is on Facebook keeping up with her friends and media companies, and you have to storytell differently based on the mindset. The way you act and think at work is very different than when you go on a girls' trip for the weekend. Psychology, reverse engineering, macro understanding. This shit isn't happening by accident. I didn't make a funny fucking video and curse twice and everything miraculously happened. Yeah.
Hi, welcome back to Speak on Stage. I forgot to tell you, Gary Vee F's and Jeffs quite a lot. So if you're sitting there going, oh, this is a terrible language, he's also seen as one of the world's foremost thinkers when it comes to marketing and social media. So you kind of got to let him off with a few F's and Jeffs every now and again. Oh, a couple of things I want to share with you. One of the biggest things you can do online, by the way, is unboxing videos. When kids unbox toys, then they get millions and millions of views. So what I want to do just now is unbox for you a stress toy that I bought from Amazon yesterday. And this is it. It's called boxing. And it's called finger boxing, or somebody's got a really bendy arm there. And I don't even want to think about what that is there. I think it's their arm. I just realized what it looks like. If you don't know what it looks like, it's probably best I don't tell you. So when you unbox this, you're looking closely. There you go. Can you see it over here? It's probably better. Okay. When you unbox this, you get this. And it's a boxing punch bag. But punch bag for your fingers. Let me explain. So if I put that down here, and it's got instructions. It's actually a proper game. This is a proper book of instructions. Look, you can't see it for the name thing there. If I go like that, you can see it's not just me making up. There's a big book in here of how you do it. Boxing moves for 1, boxing moves for 2. There's lots of different things you do. And then you see the gloves. So I'm going to take the gloves out now. And the gloves, I don't know because I've not read it properly. They go on the fingers. I'm guessing... That's the wrong way around now. If you go like that, and then like that, right, you've got your boxing gloves, right? And now you've got your boxing mitt, and you've got to somehow do some kind of game like that. And to be honest with you, as a stress toy, out of 10, I'd probably give it, maybe... I'd give it 7 out of 10 for ingenuity, but I'd give it 4 out of 10 for the fact you look like a complete idiot while you're doing it. So I may look into the book and see if there's something I missed. It probably has it's probably in here, a treasure map saying, thank you for being the first person to ever buy this ridiculous toy. As a result of that, we've got a treasure map, and you can go and get $1 billion when you arrive where is a giant X. A giant X marks the spot. I've got to say that a lot of my X's have been big, but never been called giant before. Was that a sexist joke? It probably was. I apologize to all concerned. Meanwhile, this is Speak on Stage, and we're looking at how all the different manufacturing opportunities for you in 20 and 21. And next up, we're going to give you a ton of them, so write some notes down, because I promise you, you do not want to miss any of this at all. Give me your thoughts. Excuse me, I'm trying to choke. Give me your thoughts, give me comments, let me know what you are after, and let me know the ones that jump out at you. And maybe if you like them, we'll do a big deep dive into them in a future episode.
Starting a manufacturing business is one of the wise decisions in your business journey. If you have a good amount of finance and government support, then you can start a manufacturing business in your area. The success of your manufacturing business totally depends on your business idea according to current trend and high demand. In this video, we are sharing 20 manufacturing business ideas with high demand. Number 1. Biometric sensor manufacturing. Biometric sensors are the kind of sensors that scan for your eye or your finger to specifically identify an individual. With the growing need for higher security measures, you can get huge target market for selling your biometric sensors. Number 2. Artificial intelligent AI toy manufacturing. In modern world, AI toys have a very large market. No matter the area, language, and color, parents are easily convinced to buy AI toys for the loved ones. Therefore, if you're thinking to get into manufacturing business, you can consider artificial intelligent toys making. Number 3. Solar panel manufacturing business idea. Solar panel manufacturing process monocrystalline solar panels are produced from one large silicon block and are produced in silicon wafer formats. Number 4. Eco-friendly cutlery and kitchen items. Number 5. PVC pipes manufacturing. PVC pipes are composed by the extrusion of a blend of polyvinyl chloride and several additives. The global PVC pipes market reached a volume of 36.8 million tons in 2019 through 20. Number 6. Biodiesel manufacturing. Biodiesel production is the process of producing the biofuel, biodiesel, through the chemical reactions of the transesterification and esterification. This involves vegetable or animal fats and oils being reacted with short-chain alcohols. Number 7. Smartwatches manufacturing. Number 8. Electrical smart fitting production. Number 9. Organic fertilizer production. Organic fertilizers are fertilizers derived from animal matter, animal excreta, human excreta, and vegetable matter. Naturally occurring organic fertilizers include animal wastes from meat processing, peat, manure, slurry, and guano. Number 10. Manufacturing of mobile homes. A mobile home is a prefabricated structure built in a factory on a permanently attached chassis before being transported to site. Number 11. Industrial safety equipment manufacturing business. Number 12. Refurbishing devices. Number 13. Roofing materials manufacturer. Number 14. Robot manufacturing. Robots protect workers from repetitive, mundane, and dangerous tasks, while also creating more desirable jobs such as engineering, programming, management, and equipment maintenance. Number 15. Custom drone manufacturing business. Number 16. Conveyors and transmission belts manufacturing. Number 17. Mask, sanitizer, and health equipment manufacturing business. Hand sanitizers and face masks have become an important part of our life, so you can think about it. Number 18. Custom-built PC parts manufacturing business. Number 19. Cardboard box manufacturing business. And number 20. LED light manufacturing. The LED lamp market is projected to grow at 25% annually to reach $25 billion in 2023. If you have any questions on these business ideas, then feel free to ask your questions in comment box. Also, like, share, and subscribe our YouTube channel to get future videos. Thanks for watching this video.
Wow, I made some great notes there. Really interesting ideas there, but what a boring delivery as well. I must tell you exactly what is. It was like adverts from years ago, what robots were going to be like, and they're going to be like that and dancing like a robot dance. I could do it years ago, but clearly I could. Well, I thought I could do it years ago. I can't even do it now. So there's 20 manufacturing ideas, and you don't necessarily have to have the factory creating these things. What you can do is joint venturing, and what you can do is affiliation and get commission. So you Google search who needs it, who's got it, set up a website and marry the two together. Sometimes you don't even need to marry the two together with the websites. Sometimes what you do is you do B2B, you literally connect the two and you do it with a commission basis. If I can introduce you to somebody who can solve your problem, will you give me a 20% commission on any deal that gets done? And you get them to sign an NDA to make sure that actually happens, and boom, you can get a load of money coming out of a deal that gets done, and all you've done is connect people. And if they say yes, and you connect them, and the person that you connect them to turns out to be a pain in the butt, and they don't like them at all, then you can turn around and go to another person, until they find a relationship that they really want, and then you are sorted out, which is kind of cool. Or if you're doing B2C, you can set up that website, and that is an opportunity for you to have products on a sales page or a store that people can go and have a look at. You just need to do the advertising. But you don't need to do the logistics or production or anything else. You can mirror what already exists. Sometimes there's just an affiliate link that exists that you just let people click on that. Goes to the parent site, they buy it and they send it after they've filled in all the details on your site. Or sometimes you just do the advertising too, and it works out really well. Why would they do that? Why would they give away up to maybe 50% of their money to somebody who's a complete stranger who's going out and selling it? Because then all the sales costs disappear. You do all the heavy lifting. And also what they've got after that is the back catalogue of all their other products, which they can sell to that client over a period of time. So maybe they start off with a bit of a lost leader and they say, right, for now, we're going to lose a little bit on the front end, but on the back end, there's so many more opportunities to sell other products because we know that person's already in. And the smart play is never to go looking for new clients all the time. It's to upgrade the existing clients because you know they've already bought it from you once in the first place. So therefore, once they've bought it, if they've had a pleasant experience, they're keen to spend with you again because they know, like, and trust you, and they've got the certainty that you can deliver when you're asked to. Does that make sense? Yes, good. So the next question then, apart from the fact I love your comments, say hi, hello, and all that, and I've actually got another thing to unbox for you, but I'm not going to share it with you because I'm too busy on a roll talking about money. I'm being serious-ish. I'm not getting stressed. I almost went out on my bike today. Almost. I moved it. And then I got the dogs out the door, took the dogs for a walk, came back, and moved the bike in its place just by moving it like that, not actually getting on it. I know, don't say anything. Don't say anything. You sound like my wife. Aziza, love you. That's how I was talking about it. So, if you want to know what my wife looks like, you should have seen yesterday's show all about families stuck in lockdown. Not stuck, in loving the lockdown. So now I want to share with you a concept about the fact, and this is taken from Malcolm Gladwell, actually one of my favorite authors. He talks about this in the book The Outliers, where he discusses the fact that the most intelligent and smartest people on the planet, the ones who are very successful, are rarely the most talented. Talent is one of 7 different factors that comes around to making you successful. The other ones involve other stuff, and the other stuff is what I'm going to be sharing with you in this next video. So enjoy that, and I will be back to you soon. After that, we're going to have a look at, oh yeah, how to start your own side hustle. That should be rather groovy. Do you think you're ready for that? Yes? I'm looking at the wrong camera, aren't I? Why didn't somebody say something? Dave, you're over here. I know, I was just checking over there, and I was checking over here, and it does get confusing. And now, let's have a video. And there's about 7 different factors involved in creating success, and the least of them is talent. Being talented doesn't make a lot of difference at all to being successful. You can be more successful than somebody who's got a natural talent at something by working harder on it, being at the right place, right time, and having the right opportunities, and being ready for it, and being groomed for it. So one fallacy about success is that everybody can do the same thing. That's not true either. If you're born in a certain part of the world, certain country, with certain parents, with certain advantages, you will, by the odds, do better than somebody who's less advantaged. You will just do better. It's not an equal world for anybody. It doesn't mean that should stop you being who you really want to be. If somebody has made it, then you can make it as well. And it's not a competition to see how well you can do compared to everybody. It's a competition of you versus you. How much better can you be than you were the day before? It's very important. Don't watch anybody else and say, how come they've got that? Watch yourself and say, how can I get better at what I do? And then it becomes a game that you can win. He's a good-looking fella. That's me, Dave Crane, talking to the ladies at the Heels and Deals during the day when we used to have gigs. And we do have gigs, but we just don't have gigs in the same way. In fact, I'm really busy at the time right now because I've got so many things that I've been asked to do, and there's not enough hours in the day. But priority is given to you every day. I want to be able to be here for you every day because I know some people are in lockdown, some people are at work, some people are in a bit of both, and you're just saying, where's Dave's show? In fact, Dave, nobody's saying that. You can stop the show. Is that true? A question to you, from my ego to you. Do you enjoy me doing these shows? Is it useful for you? Do you get stuff from it? If I stopped doing it for about like rest of my life, would it bother you? Yes is keep going, and no, please stop, we hate you. You choose, yes, no. And if you want tips on making money, make a yes. All right then, so here's the thing. What we're going to talk about now is if you start your own side hustle, what does that mean for you and what can you do to make it all happen? Side hustles are some things that you start alongside your job. And if you went into the pandemic with a side hustle and you lost your bricks and mortar normal 9-to-5 job, then at least your side hustle hopefully was something that you were passionate about, something you loved doing, and something that you could do and put together that would take care of everything for you. Let me give an example of what a side hustle should look like. I'll do it by sharing with you this diagram for the hedgehog concept. So I'll just do it now and completely lose my head. 3 things that you need to look at. First of all, what you're potentially best at doing in the world, that's the blue one. And then you look at the red one, what you're passionate about. And the green one, what's your economic engine? What you do in the center is a win, and that effectively would be your side hustle, and that would be the one that we're talking about right now. Does that make sense to you? I'll give you a quick look at it again. Have a quick look at this again. Right. So what are you potentially best in the world at doing? What do you love doing? And what will people pay for? Get those 3 together, and that's what you should be doing actually for the rest of your life. That's what I do in my job. Okay, does that make sense? Yes, thanks. Good. All right, and so 4 secrets of creating your own side hustle and the things you need to consider. And these are kind of controversial, so I'm going to make sure that I give you my spin on it as well as the spin that we got from this wonderful article written by somebody. It's TED.com. You can find it at TED.com. Okay, so it's probably a speaker. Very good indeed. All right, so Everybody should have a side hustle. I do believe that. And you should be doing what you love in your life anyway. That's kind of important. This is run by Renee Blewett, who's a New York-based creator of the In Her Shoes blog. So check that out. And apparently she's got a documentary on Netflix called She Did That. So check that out. She sounds like a very talented and very interesting person. Okay, here we go. Everyone's got a different reason for starting a side hustle, but yours should be basically you want to do it for your passion reasons, because it makes economic sense for you to have that, and also because you don't want to go to your grave one day saying, I didn't do what I wanted in my life. I wish I'd done something I really felt strong about. So first thing is here, tell your boss about your side hustle. Now, I'm not sure about this. I'm in two minds about it, because some of the bosses I've worked with have been really open-minded and really supportive, and when you say that I'm doing it to learn stuff and I want to be better at doing my job, they go, yeah, I understand. But sometimes they go, right, you're not allowed to do anything else. I'll tell you one job I did in particular, because when I was at university studying law, yeah, I was going to be a lawyer. I wasn't one in the end. I was a journalist, but there you go. So when I was studying law, I dropped out, surprise, surprise, after 2 years. I just had enough. It wasn't me. And I got a job in a jean shop. And I don't mean disrespect to anybody working in a jean shop, but I got a job in a jean shop because it meant that my brain was not being spent too much. I could just fold up the jeans, count the jeans, hang up the jeans, sell the jeans, iron the jeans, whatever I had to do, just jeans. Place is called Jean Genie. Hey, who could have imagined? In Essex and Chelmsford. There you go. So I was in Jean Genie and I was working there, but my passion was I wanted to get into radio. If I dropped out of doing law, which is what my parents wanted, to be honest, not really me. As you may have experienced that kind of thing in your life before. Dropping out of that, I wanted to do radio. So what I did was a long slog to get myself into a local hospital radio store. And I could only get a show that was like stupid o'clock on a weekend. So I had to walk all the way, because I was a student, walk through the snow, walk through the rain, walk through wherever it was for about 3 or 4 miles, because there was no buses at that time. It was just too early to go and do this, I won't say graveyard shift, because that's the wrong thing to say about hospital radio, because, you know, people... Yeah. So, and there's a captive audience, because I can't go like that, get the headphones off. Stop talking to me, Dave. I hate you. You talk in such pants. Oh, that was a good song. Put it back on. So what had to happen was I had to walk all that distance. So I had two things going on. I had this job in a jean shop, which was kind of cool, because I looked cool selling jeans. I wasn't fat and blobby, and I had no grey hair. So I was kind of young and trendy. Kind of. I was a DJ at the time, just give me some space. And I was working on hospital radio doing the show. So what I'd do is during the day when it was boring in the shop, I'd write out ideas to use for my show. Because even though you didn't really get much feedback on my show, and I've never been in a business where so many people are wannabes as hospital radio, but you have to do it to be able to get to the first rung of being a broadcaster, or you did before podcasting came along. Keep on. So I was keeping notes in a little notebook in my back pocket. And one of the staff told the big boss, I won't say her name, right? Her name, let's say it's Glinderala. So they told Glinderala, it's not a real name because it's nobody's real name. Nobody on the planet. If you Google it now, Glinderala, send me a link if you can find who Glinderala is. And I'll bring him on the show. Not really, might be a psychopath. So anyway, Glinderala found out that I was having my notebook and I was writing stuff. So she came to me and she said, I don't want you using your notes in the shop. I said, why? She said, well, if we're paying for your time, then you should not be doing anything outside of that. I don't want to see that book. I don't want you to write notes. And if I hear about it, I'll take it off you. I said, no, you're not going to take it off me. But I hear what you're saying. So I kept it in my back pocket and I kept my pencil there and I carried on making my notes, but I just did it when nobody else was around. Do you know why? Because I didn't want to be there forever. That was her job. She wanted to be there forever. I don't mean disrespect to anybody in clothing or manufacturers or fashion or anything like that, but I wanted to be on the radio. This was to pay my bills after dropping out of law. Make sense? Yes. So she just didn't get it. So my experience is that many people don't get it. Now, it might be a different world. When I was working in that shop, it was 1957. So that's going back at least, 70 plus years. So it's kind of understandable. It's a different world then. It wasn't really that long ago, but it felt like it. So if you are starting a side hustle, just be very careful that the people involved in it are supportive. Test the water first before you tell them all about it. You may get them to actually buy into it. I mean, if you say to your boss, by the way, I'm starting my own little business on the side because I want to learn to be a better boss and I want to learn to be a better business person and I want to learn to do sales and I want to get a better idea about it. I mean, hopefully I can help you more in what you do. They will first of all go, ha ha ha, you want to leave? Or ha ha ha, you're after my job. Or, this could be really good. They're going to train themselves to get up to a really good level, and then I can promote them. And then take on responsibility that I don't have to worry about, because at first I was not going to promote them because they've got a bit to go, but they're kind of cool, and maybe it'll spin off well. And their skills, their newfound skills, could maybe merge with what we're doing. As long as they're not talking to our existing clients, then that's all right. Because you normally have to sign a blah, blah, blah saying you can't do with a da-da-da, and that's the way it goes. So with that, it's worth talking, or at least talking around it with your boss. What I would do first is I'd check with somebody that you trust. If you've got a good enough relationship with your boss, do it with them. If you haven't, then just think about it probably before you jump in with 2 left feet and get in trouble. Because sometimes when you do put that in front of somebody, they're looking to get you out the door because they don't trust that you're going to be there. If it's a petty boss. If it's a smart boss, they'll realize that you're into personal development and you're into your own opportunities and will see a bigger picture. But that's not always the case, especially micromanagers. But they're almost dead now anyway. Not for the virus, it's just because of the fact that that mindset just doesn't make sense anymore. Okay, so number 2, ask for help when you need it. Asking at work, maybe for help. People can show you how to do stuff. If you've got the permission of the boss, then that's good. Even if you've got permission of the boss, then just ask if you're going to use any resources. Otherwise, it's going to feel like stealing from work. But make sure that you do it outside of work time, because otherwise that could be a huge no. But then you can certainly ask other people outside of work to help you. Really, honestly, it doesn't matter who it is. If you've got a part-time hustle, then think about who you can get to help you. Be strategic about your time. It's not easy, especially now with lockdown, to apportion what is your time for work and what is your time for side hustle. Or it might be easier in some people's case if you're really good at time management. And what is the time for your family? But it can be done. Ideally, evening, weekends for your side hustle, daytime for your job is the right kind of balance. Does that leave time for you? No. But do I have time for me? Usually not. But here's the thing. If you do your hedgehog, that one I showed you earlier with the 3 circles, I won't even explain why it's called a hedgehog. You can Google that. If you're doing what you love, what you're good at, and what the world wants, then it's not like work anyway. I mean, doing this every day is work, but it's not work because I love it. Does that make sense? Yes, Dave. Thank you, Dave, for answering the question. And the last thing to share with you is this. Do not quit your day job until you have a plan. Here's what you should do. You should start saving up money, putting it on the side if you can. You should have between 6 to 12 months of wages lined up before you say goodbye to your day job. If you can, the smart hustle, I would say, is a side hustle where you don't give up your day job because it pays your rent, it pays your food, school fees, whatever it's going to do. All that stuff comes from your day job, clearly. So therefore, it supplements what's going on elsewhere. It's a big jump to say, right, I'm going independent, when suddenly you've got all this time on your hands, and not all that time is used converting into money. Sometimes that time is used marketing or creating or meeting before it actually turns into cash. That's why you should be looking at 6 to 12 months worth of money if you've got that on the side before you leave. But if you don't decide to leave, then you kind of can just make it on almost a zero budget. Depends on what your product is. If you've got to manufacture stuff like that video we showed earlier, it's going to cost you, and that's just a bottom line. But if you're going to be affiliating and building websites and connecting, and or even just sort of scratching the surface about the opportunities, it doesn't have to cost you a lot. It's only going to cost you time. But you can go on a number of different courses and learn a ton of different ways to really save your money and make money at the same time. Does that make sense to you? Yes, groovy. So that's it. That's the 4 things I'd consider with that wonderful article there about starting your side hustle that often don't get mentioned. People talk about the way you run a business, the business plan and all those other things, but it really does matter about your exit strategy from work. And just as I mentioned there, you don't necessarily have to leave. We love your thoughts. We love your comments. I'm not going to, in the end, use this for boxing. I don't even know what I would use this for. What would you do if you had this and you were on your own in a house? Would you put on the little gloves and start boxing? I'm not proud of your answers. Just speak on stage. So after that deep dive, let's now look at the the bottom line, which is I promised you 35 killer business tips. We already showed you 20 with the manufacturing ideas that you can have to start your own business with the different areas that you can consider. But so many things are changing as well that you should be thinking about. And I really think that if you can start a side hustle along the lines of the things I'm going to be sharing with you, then you'll grow a business that works really well. Alternatively, you might be running your own business anyway, in which case you might want to pivot and take advantage of some of the direction you can get by going into these different particular industries, or even just dipping your toes in the water and connecting people as some kind of joint venture. There's lots of different ways of making money. You don't necessarily have to be doing all the heavy lifting yourself. There's lots of people in those industries who are growing and changing and doing stuff, but what I've found in many industries, especially in the speaking industry, there's a ton of people who are great at creating stuff like, virtual platforms and so on, but they're really bad at marketing, really bad at connecting people, really bad at doing the care and attention and customer service that people really need to do this effectively. So there's always opportunities, even if you're not creating the main business, to do something else. So we're going to give you 15. In fact, I'll play one of these after each one to let you know there is money to be had and opportunities just for you as well, which is what I kind of love. As we move on now to our 15 killer tips and opportunities for you to make some cash. First one is this. We're going to have a massive fight around the world for control of the payment systems. Does that make sense to you? Do you know what payment systems are? Mobile payment systems. Get in your phone and you've got apps that you pay with. Those ones that you just tap on to the top. Or the ones that when you walk in and out, it just reads it from your phone. Right now, the best ones at doing it are all working in the gaming industry, in my opinion. Banks are usually terrible at everything, and I mean that in a nice way. I don't really mean it in a nice way, but banks are really horrible normally at working with people because they've been sort of automating things so much, they've lost the human touch. And so often you feel that your money isn't being looked after. It means being looked after in a certain way, but you feel a bit very ungrateful for looking after your money. And you go to another bank and they're just as horrible. So people tend to prefer putting it into a more friendly way of doing business. And so what tends to be doing it better is the gaming industry, because they understand how to engage people, make them feel good about spending their money. Less buyer's remorse, more happiness. Do you get the general idea of that? Okay, so that's what I think is a huge area. So credit card companies, software companies, and all the rest should really consider that this is a big industry that you should be thinking more about in the future. Right, next up I'm going to look at this. Flatter organizations. That's not going, oh, you're a good organization, good for you. Flatter organizations means something completely different. What I mean is many businesses are now becoming flat. So what used to have is a triangle. You'd have a boss at the top, and then the upper management, the middle management, and then supervisors, and then scum. No, didn't mean scum. Just workers at the bottom. Sorry, didn't mean scum. But now more things are becoming leveled out, where you've got silos of people doing stuff through agile work. And that means that you might have a decision maker, or you might make everybody a decision maker, and servant leadership is the boss leading from behind to elevate everybody so they become the boss, and he is actually working for them to keep them happy so they can do their job better. Do you see that turnaround? As opposed to micromanaging and going, which is a noise and makes no sense. So that will be a big difference, I think, and you'll find will be less managers and more opportunities. And you have to have that with a faster decision-making process, because all your competition are going to be faster at it as well. So we may see an end to management as we know it, but more to servant leadership and more to understanding the systems that you use to keep everybody on the same page. That's a definite opportunity. 3D printing, you already know that. You may have a 3D printer at home, in which case you're probably loaded, but 3D printing is going to become bigger and better, and the opportunities are crazy big. Everything from manufacturing bones and teeth has already been done to making coffee cups. Cheers. Coffee makes everything so much cooler. So there's lots of things like that which are going to be made. But houses, 3D printing houses is so much more cost effective than getting all the cement and the blah, 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 blah. You can put it in and it just creates them, really, honestly. And so that's being done at a number of different places, especially affordable homes and collapsible homes, not houses that fall on you, but ones that are actually transportable. You pull them out like that, and be turned into a big home, and then you can compartmentalize it and get it on a truck and move it to a different place. Is this true? I know you think I'm making it up. It's not. It's true. And it kind of makes sense when you're going at low budget housing, or just for you solo to be able to move and live in a place where you feel more comfortable. Not sure about the internet. You'd have to park next to Starbucks and nick theirs. But you'd be able to work it out at some point anyway. All right, that's number 3. These are all 1 for the fight for mobile payments, 2 for flatter organizations, 3 for 3D printing, and 4 for reinventing entertainment. People now love the idea of apps. They love the idea of gaming. They love online gaming platforms. And they connect machines. So literally my daughter and her friends will be there on the machines and they'll be playing with each other on a platform. It's not the same way as entertainment used to go, and this is going to be really made differently because of the fact that right now, with the coronavirus and lockdown and quarantine and all the stuff like that, proper gigs, theatres, Broadway is going to be closed for another year, apparently. Theatres, cinemas, sporting events, concerts, stage hypnosis shows, even speaking events are going to be different. I'm not saying that they're going to go completely, but the ticket price will probably have to go up because you've got less people in and you have to have social distancing. And to get that experience to be cost effective for the big stars, the stars either have to drop their prices or they have to raise up more money or get sponsors in. It's going to be a different business model. I'm not saying it won't work because people do have to do stuff, but think about stuff like the Olympics, for instance. The Olympics is a massive challenge because you're going to get people from all around the world to go to Japan next year and compete. And when it goes to hugging because you've won or you've lost, you go, hug, oh, no. Elbows, well done. Especially if it's a boxer, well done, you came second, bang. Did you just hit me? Did you start a new fight? You have to be very careful. All right, so that's number 4, and you get one of them for that. Number 5 is this one, the fall and rise of social media. These are all opportunities, by the way. These are tips that you can jump into and start your side hustle, or maybe pivot your business into being in that particular industry, or several of them. So social media did rise, it did fall, but it's back up again. In many ways, I think it's more effective than conventional media anyway. People like to have their own stories, and if it's curated and created properly, then that will be an incredible thing. Right now, I would say that the battle for the elections in the US is being fought on social media. And when I say social media, I include the news outlets because for me, I don't have cable. So I have Netflix, but I don't, and something else as well, can't remember. But I don't have all the TV from America, but what I do have is the ability to watch it on YouTube and watch it on social media. So that's kind of where the battleground has gone. Now that's a really difficult business model because if people are watching it for free, how can you charge without sponsorship and without advertising? Because they cut out the adverts. The minute an advert comes up, you're like that, la 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 la, board going. So that's something to think about social media if you're not in that already. And you should have it as part of your hustle anyway, because it's free advertising when you do it correctly, like this show. Okay, data rights becoming an issue. Here's an opportunity for you, whether you're a lawyer or whether you're dealing with big data. And interpreting big data has been said for many years is a really important part of any management skill, to be able to look at the facts and the figures and say, right, okay, I kind of understand what's going on there. Yes, this is the one. Now, here's the battle. There's a massive background that you've got to consider with this. Whose data is it? Whose data is going up to the cloud? Does it belong to the company that's getting your data, like Facebook, for instance, or Google? Does it belong to the government who own the country? Or does it belong to you? Now, you can turn around and say, yes, it's me, but that's a battle you probably already lost. If your data's out there, then they can predict from if they took one page of your Facebook, if you still got Facebook, and they take one page of Facebook and look at all your likes and your comments and the things that you watch and the things that you eat and the smile that you give and the people you hang around with and the clothing you wear and what you drink and eat, all these things, they can work out pretty much your allegiance to any political party. They can work out your gender. Your gender's pretty easy because you know it says, but you can work out your sexual preferences. They can work out your types. The types of things that you want to be sold to, they are already being exploited. So when it comes down to it, it's a really important part of it, the big data, because it can follow you everywhere. Especially now when we're talking about smartwatches being the way that they'll monitor to see whether anyone's got coronavirus or so on, and then that becomes a chip. If you're wearing a chip and then they decide that they don't want you to be a real person, not like Pinocchio, but they decide that you're a bad person, they can just remove the chip or make your chip non-gratis. So you're not a person anymore, as far as they're concerned. Now, what if that's done by accident? Lots of issues to be done here, and if you are a logistics person, or you're a data security person, or you're an ethics person, or maybe you're a lawyer of some description, or you want to educate people all about data, then this is a really powerful opportunity for you to get in, because people know nothing about cybersecurity at all, and you could be jumping in there. And that's a big one. There were 3 of those. Number 7 is DIY and gig economy is here to stay. And if you wonder what DIY and gig economy is, it's DIY, doing it yourself. So what used to be done by a number of different companies are now done by small individuals who are doing their own thing. So, for instance, it might be that, I don't know, let's take an example. All right, here's an example. Uber. Even though people are driving around and Uber's kind of having a hard time right now. But you used to have lots of companies that were taxi companies, and then Uber came in, created the app, and so anybody could run their own business through their car. Get that? Yeah? Well, there's a number of different organizations that use that kind of business model. And what I'm saying is the gig economy, where you work on short-term contracts, doing your own business for people all around the world, is really going to take over. More and more companies are going to fail. More and more companies are going to downscale. There will be more that jump into the breach. But I think what you'll have is almost the death of the huge companies and the birth of lots of little ones. And they don't necessarily have to be in your country, because very simply, because of the natural digital borders, you could be anywhere. You don't necessarily have to have a shop that people can see. If it can Google you and find you, and you've got smart ways of finding your website, or you've got advocates in any given country who are selling your stuff, then borders have changed considerably anyway. So that's a huge opportunity, and I like it, actually. That's kind of exciting for me as well. All right, number 8, new education revolution. Prices, convenience, and new courses on absolutely everything. The conventional way of going to university is to get a degree eventually and then get out and get a job. But we know that doesn't lead to a job necessarily. It leads to a big, huge student debt. So the cost of those education and the cost of those degrees are crazy money. I don't think it's going to last. I really don't. I think that bubble's going to burst. And right now, the education system is going, no, it's me, it's mine. Leave it alone. Don't share it with anybody. And don't tell people that the Wizard of Oz is behind the curtain. There's just a little man there making, this is a big education thing. This is what you need. But the more that people start their own business, and the more that they got a side hustle, the less they give a monkeys whether you consider their qualifications to be important, because you're only going to care about what you get at the end of the day. What's in it for me? I bought that cake. Did the cake maker have a degree in caking? No, nothing. They just basically made a really nice cake. Or did it have special icing on it, that you could only get if you had a degree in cake decoration? No, it was just like a cherry. Did we decorate it? It was red. Did we do anything with it? Gave it to me on a plate with the cake. Money in a bank. See? So I think that's going to change considerably. But that means that you've got 2 things that happen. This is for you. You've got a lot of people who are not going to be paying for education, but going to want it to be cheap. You're going to get a lot of people who were working in education, like teachers and principals and coaches and so on, who will go freelance and help people work from home, because right now that's kind of what a lot of people are still doing anyway. And you're going to get a lot of educators who jump into the breach and say, look, I know that there's a market now for teaching people to do enough accounts and enough marketing, enough brand building to be able to run your own business properly from home. Those 3 areas there, I made sure I wasn't 2. Those 3 areas here. We'll do a special course on that. We'll certify it, yeah, but we're not affiliated to any particular university, because that's a pain in the butt to ask people. But that will allow you to set up your own side hustle. You'll learn to do your accounts, you'll learn to market it, and your brand will be on there on social media, and that's all you need to start your business. In fact, we'll do some financial education as well. That's 4. See, that could be a great education opportunity that people would pay for, and you don't have to necessarily be a university or an education authority to be able to put it together. It's just a great thing that people would want. So these are huge opportunities for you. I hope you found that as well. And if you're sat at home and you're stressed, going, I can't deal with this, hopefully you've gone, stress ball? You're my friend. I feel good now. Still smells like strawberry shortcake though. All right, so the education opportunity is there, which I think is wonderful. That's your number 8. Number 9, reskilling the workforce. And this is kind of tying into what I said earlier, but seeing it as a real direct business. Because the thing is, everybody was not ready for the tsunami that came now with coronavirus. Nobody went into lockdown going, ho, ho, ho. Some people went into lockdown going, oh, the rest of the world's coming and joining us in lockdown because we're working from home anyway, because all my staff are all around the world because we're online. I mean, companies like IBM and Facebook and Google, all these guys were on Twitter, were kind of with their foot in that kind of 1 foot in the office, 1 foot at home, and an extra foot so you can do the okey cokey and turn around, and that's really what it's all about. Makes no sense to me. So a lot of organizations were kind of doing that anyway, but you do need to reskill people. So I'm not just talking about creating a side hustle, I'm talking about real working people in a job that know they're good for the company doesn't want to lose them, but they need to get everyone back up to speed again. They need to reorganize the management, they need to get the staff so they're now focused on the low-hanging fruit of what the business is now doing. The business might be a completely different business, but they want to keep the same team as much as possible because they've got the company culture, they've been there for many years, they know each other, they just have to do some serious pivoting, and if they can, they'll save 75-80% of the jobs. Because some of it you won't need to have. Many of the people who were involved in, I don't know, not the administration, but the cleaning style stuff of the office don't need to necessarily be there if people aren't in the office anymore. But everyone else is just as valid. So you've got to reskill these people and got to re-educate them as what do we need to do next. That needs to be done by somebody. If you know how to do it, start telling people, start approaching businesses and make that your side hustle. Especially if you're in a job right now where you're doing that, you can teach people how to do it and make money as you do it. And as you're doing your other job, you can learn from that job so you get better at doing it, and then you teach other people how to do it even better. Yes? Keep up. Right, number 10, taming the big data tsunami. I've talked about big data in many ways, shapes, or forms. You have no idea how important this is. Big data is literally worth more than cash or oil or even printer ink at this moment in time. Your ability to know how to get the data of people, your ability to know how to manipulate it, to get people to win elections, yes. The world changes when that happens. And I won't go on about Cambridge Analytica, that's a whole new story, and you can Google it. You can have a look at what's it called? The Great Fake, is it? I can't remember. Something that you can check out on Netflix or just Google it. It's probably on YouTube as well. But your ability to do stuff with data is second to none in terms of importance. Interpreting what people are doing, knowing how to manipulate it and make it work. Because when you look at the social media platforms, I know that if I said to you, what's Facebook, what's Twitter, what's TikTok, what's WhatsApp, what's any of these social media platforms, even LinkedIn, what do? And you're going to say, well, they connect people and they allow you to share your information with your friends and they get you jobs and they're good fun because, no, none of that. None of that. They are there to manipulate your data, and this is a truth. It sounds like I'm being horrible there, and I'm on all these platforms. No, you are the product, not the platforms. The platforms are there to engage you, to make you stay on as long as you possibly can. I promise you this. You should watch The Social Dilemma. Honestly, it'll blow your mind. So they are there to make them as sticky as possible. So when you go on, you go, oh, that's interesting. Got to watch that. Oh, that's interesting. Got to watch that. And before you know it, you can't leave because it's always there. And you're checking in with the likes. Why do you think the likes and shares and comments thing was created? It was created so you get addicted to looking for more. It gives you a tiny little dopamine boom of, hey, people love me. And then you look for another one because it's too short. So you need another one. And you keep checking back on the likes. Oh, yeah, we like that one. And that one. Oh, we like it a bit more. Like it a bit more. Oh, check it again. Oh, like it a bit more. That's what it's all about. See? Hello, Snow. My doggy's come back. Come here, baby. Just to prove I've still got a doggy. Come here, baby. There we go. Dog's going, you're freaking me out, Daddy. There you go. Gorgeous doggy. See him out there? No? Okay, good girl. All right, out. I'll see you in a minute. Go! Love my dogs. Got two of them. I've got a white one. Got a white one, Snow, and I've got a black one called Ash. And she's a Belgian Shepherd, and that one's a Swiss Shepherd, aren't you, baby? Yes. She's just looking at me saying, right, do I get some more food? I'm going to ring my agent. You are toast, my friend. She probably eat toast. So number 10 was this, the data tsunami. It's going to bury the way that we do business in the 20th century, because that old business model of keeping the data to ourselves, it's going to be everywhere. And you might want to say, no, I'm not going to let anyone have my data. Too late, we've got it. It's a case of what are you going to do about it? And if you can't get into the game and protect yourself, and get into the game and make things happen. Number 11 is nanotechnology. Every single thing will change from this. If you ever watched the Avengers, and I've watched them about 1,000,000 times, you'll see how Tony Stark's entire armor is made out of nanobots. And so ultimately he's able to make it appear and disappear. Same with Black Panther. There you are, Black Panther. T'Challa. See? That's what I look like. I look like that in a vibranium skin-tight suit. Amazing, isn't it? You wouldn't think so, because you're looking at me and thinking, but Dave, you're really fat. You couldn't possibly look like that, but I do. Yeah. In my mind. Not in the real world. That look ridiculous. Okay, so with that, let's look at nanotechnology. It will be used pretty soon. If it's not already used to grow skin and hearts and all the rest of it, it's used on almost everything. And it's really fascinating. We'll do a whole show on that when we do some more stuff on tech. But watch this space, because that combined with artificial intelligence and augmented reality and mixed reality and virtual reality is what is going to be taking over everything, if it's not already taking over there. Fascinating though, and really interesting to see the opportunities for you. And so far we've got our 12th killer business idea, and that's the ones I missed earlier, and I'm going to add that now because it's kind of important for you to know so. Mobile apps redefining the service industry. So I mentioned that kind of earlier, but mobile apps are going to be the direction that businesses are going to run. Not so much websites, but websites will still have relevance. But I think that if you look at the likes of Uber, as I mentioned, and Airbnb style ideas, we haven't even touched the surface on the opportunities that are going to be there for people. So maybe you want to think about it. If you've got something in your mind about you thinking, well, I've always wanted to see if I could do that. Yes, the more you do in a niche, the more you have a small group of people, especially if you can give it to them that digitally, which is why education works so well, then that's a perfect opportunity. All right, number 13, robots are taking all our jobs, and they probably will. Here's the way this is going to work. If you don't already know it, then I promise you this is completely true. Robots will take care of all the transaction-based stuff. So anything that involves something that goes from there to there, why do you need a human to go from there to there? I do this, I get this, I put it in a box and I hand it over to these guys. No, you don't need that anymore. That job's going to go. And also, when you consider that if that job of transactional stuff disappears, then why shouldn't a job of understanding the process of it disappear and reacting and talking to people? Yesterday, I talked to my bank. I won't say which bank it was. And I talked to an artificial intelligent person. And I got so angry, I can't tell you, because they didn't understand my accent. Mind you probably don't. And they didn't understand what I really wanted. I wanted to know why one particular website was blocked. And it was actually about the DNS setting that I'd put on my computer. It was nothing to do with the site being blocked. But it kept saying, check with your operator. It was actually not. It was somebody else. So I got angry because I'm being given no human beings to talk to. I had to search and search and search and search and search and search until I found a human being who would just go, oh yeah, let me check. Yeah, it's probably a problem. It should be okay in a couple of days. Now, that's no good to me, but eventually I got a human being. There's going to be less of them and a lot more artificial intelligence, and they will be smoother and smarter. And at some point, and mark my words on this, by the way, at some point, you will have a companion on your phone that just won't be a normal thing where you can just use voice search. It will get smarter, it will know your personality, it will talk to you in the way that you want to be talked to, and it will become your real-life friend. You think I'm joking? No, I promise you. Now, this is a great opportunity for you because, therefore, you might want to get into that programming. You might have some ideas about where this could go. You might have a certain thing like a cooking buddy who keeps you company and talks to you and shares facts and figures while you cook your stuff. So you don't have to worry about anything else. It gives you the recipe and it gives you suggestions. It gives you all the different stuff that you could need. Even tells you where you can get the best ingredients from. Actually, that's a really good idea. Wish I'd thought of that before. See? All these things coming to you. Never get bored. All right, then. Number 14 of his killer tips, by the way, is this one. The Internet of Machines talking to each other and not to you. So you got your phone talking to your laptop, talking to the server, talking to the temperature control, talking to somebody else's server that orders food. That's already existing. But they're kind of driven by you. At the moment, you're deciding what you're going to order, what you're going to get. But that's all going to change. they will start talking to each other and not tell you what's going on. The programmers will know, but at some point they won't. So one of the things people have always talked about is the importance of coding. You need to learn to code. It's an important language. You need to have all that. I don't even think that's true. I really don't. Why? Because machine language is good if you've got people doing it. That's great because then you've got a hand in the game. Yes, blah, blah, blah. But if you can get computers to work out what you need, you just need to program them to get the stuff done. They can program a lot faster than people can. And they can work out algorithms that come up with better ones than the ones that people can. Now, the key to it is a thing called a centaur. And you're wondering, Dave, what is a centaur? A centaur is a half man, half horse. You might see them in Harry Potter. But that's also the phrase for when you've got virtual reality, artificial intelligence working alongside with purple people. Artificial intelligence and purple people. That's what it needs. That's what we need. Forget all the rest of the stuff on the list. Artificial intelligence and purple people. No. Artificial intelligence working alongside a person is like when Tony Stark in Iron Man has his visor on and you see Jarvis popping up and you see all the facts and figures coming out. That's a thing right now. But when you check humans versus artificial intelligence generally works, but humans can sometimes win as well. But if you get artificial intelligence and humans working together against artificial intelligence and humans are a centaur, that's what it's called, and they work much better. This was tested with some games like chess, and another one I can't remember. It's not Uno, but it's some game that smart people tell and play, and I don't know what it is, but it's shown. So that's interesting how they can all come together. So with that in mind, number 14 kind of has a relevance, but something that you can get into, the Internet of Machines, and how you can actually be involved in that conversation. And number 15 is this: the death of newspaper and other irrelevant media. So I don't mean it to be horrible. I'm actually a trained journalist. I worked for the BBC for a number of years. The BBC! Coming to all from the BBC! Yes, very nice. But you probably noticed that, first of all, you wouldn't buy a newspaper because you don't know who's touched it. You can't really sanitize a newspaper, but you probably look at it on your iPad or your device or something like that, or you read it on your screen, so the actual physical newspaper isn't so relevant. But the problem is that to get access to this news is a really big problem. Getting access to real news is probably the only way you can keep an eye on the politicians that you've elected to make sure that they're not moving things away from you and into their back pocket. And I don't mean to say that all politicians are corrupt, but all politicians are under pressure to be able to get elected again, and that's probably more important than delivering what to their constituency. You need to have the press to keep an eye on them. And often the times when changes are made, or when they used to be made, was in a town hall meeting or stuff that would go on in some little boring courtroom where they'd be discussing a change in the law. And you'd get a journalist who would sit in the law courts, I've done it, and basically follow the entire rulings of the day and report them in the magazines or newspapers. As a direct result of that, people can turn around and say, that's terrible, you can't do that. And then they'd protest and get the law changed back to the way it was, or stop that law coming into fruition. You can't do that without journalists. The journalists are the first people to get broken down because generally they're freelance or they're working for a paper or an organization. Those papers are being bought and broken down and closed. Asset stripping. You think I'm joking? I am not joking. Honestly. So you're going to end up with a world full of fake news, where literally political agendas are the only things that you'll be able to get people to drive information on, because they won't drive it to let you feel more informed because they're not being paid. They've got bills to pay. So why would they do it? Because they're either being paid for the views that they have. So if you've got a blog that gets like 1 million views, then quite clearly advertisers want to be there. Now, if you're telling the truth all the time, then that's pretty boring. But if you're telling a sensation, and people go, oh my goodness, you've got to see that story, and then you retract it because it was a lie, but everyone watched it, then that's going to work out a lot better. So the death of newspapers and media is really challenging. I think it's terrible, but I see how it came about. The battle of the elections right now in the US and many other countries is a battle over media and social media, which is kind of challenging as well at the same time. And I worry about where this is going, because what happens instead is user-generated content. Now, I do a show daily, about an hour or so, and I share with you lots of different stuff. And this is me ethically, because I'm an ex-BBC journalist, choosing how to share this with you. I wouldn't lie about anything because I wouldn't want it to come back and bite me. And also because if I'd lie, it's probably about, stretch toys. or something silly. But it's not that I'm veering away from what I believe ethically and from my own personal values I want to share with you. But I could easily have an agenda, in which case I could steer you in that agenda. I don't. The only thing I talk about is the Industry Icon Program and ability for you to become a speaker. And if you want to become a speaker or a brand and you want to make it better, then do it through me. That's it. I have no other agenda. That's not what everybody wants to do. I appreciate that, but some people do. So that's the key to it. So there we are. I'm going to move my head to one side as always. There you go. Chair, come with me. Chair, come with me. There we go. Much better. And you can then take a screenshot of that and have a look at it. In fact, if I'd moved my head earlier on my chair, you could have seen it without me ducking my head at all. That would have made more sense. Must remember for next time. So I hope that was useful for you. Make a note of it. And next up, we're going to talk about your ability to take yourself to the next level. They are drinking my coffee through my lovely little dainty mug. In fact, if I put my pinkies or my brownies up, in fact, half my head's missing on this particular. If I go about that, it's much better. Okay, that's me trying to drink it. And do shadow puppet sounds at the same time. So that's a what's that? That's a rabbit, isn't it? That's a rabbit. A rabbit with 3 ears. It's a 3-eared rabbit. And that's a goose. Is that a goose? Or is it? It's Kermit the Frog naked. That's what it is. All right, Industry Icon Program is your ability to get to the next level by me training you to be a great speaker, great communicator, building your brand, your marketing. You might want a TV show, you might want a podcast, you might want to create stuff for your blog, you might want to reposition yourself as an industry expert. I believe, really, that's where the money is. Every single thing that we talked about on the show today, every single thing, bar none, of the 35 tricks that I've shared with you that are business tips for stuff to do in the future. Some of them will be surprises, or maybe you know them anyway. It's just a nice reminder. Needs for you to be at the forefront of your industry, to be recognized by people as a brand and a brand leader and an expert thinker. If you want to persuade people to invest, to be part of your team, your communication skills are utterly important. And what we're going to have is more crowded markets as well. More and more people are going to be up against each other for the same thing. So it's you versus them. Whose is bigger? Reputation, brand, knowledge, social proof. If you aren't creating that and you're just going, yeah, I'm really good, doesn't matter. Think about the amount of products that are on the market that are much better than the market leader, but nobody knows about them and nobody cares because they only care about the market leader because it's trendy. Everybody else does that. Look about the fast food industry. Is the fast food industry better than the steakhouse or the special vegan restaurant around the corner? No, it's not better. In fact, it's much, much worse. However, the branding is everywhere. If you're capable of branding yourself properly, people will go to you. And what's the biggest real estate company on the planet? McDonald's, stroke Starbucks. Or at least it was until the pandemic bit everything, but they probably still are, but it's not particularly full of people. So it's worth thinking about. If you're interested in this, you want to know more, my Industry Icon Program will take you. I'm working with people all around the world. In fact, I'm training companies at the moment. I'm just about to launch a product that's going to reach a lot of thousands of people, which is very exciting. I've got that in the pipeline. Okay, so here's what you do. You go to SpeakOnstage.com. You have a look at all the really cool stuff that's happening there. You also, when you get to SpeakOnstage.com, you can have access to my new... I should talk about it. I'll tell you about it tomorrow. There's something new coming. But I should have mentioned it earlier in the show and shown you the QR code. So we'll sit tight on that. Go to SpeakOnstage.com. You've got all my modules to train you to be a much better speaker and communicator. And also, you can click on the link that goes Industry Icon and book a Calendly meeting with me. I've got 3 lined up after this meeting today with people who are looking to become better speakers and really reinvent their brand, and they're either starting a new business or they're wanting to boost themselves because they see an opportunity because the industry's gone flat, or they want to pivot slightly and they want help with that. I do all those things, rebranding, getting you to where you truly need to be, but starting in here. So you start thinking of yourself as an industry expert first. It's called Being an Industry Icon. I'd love to help you with that. Just contact me direct and then let's play. Wow, Wow, it's been a long show today. I really want to get it right for you. I want to make sure that you had as much information as possible about the stuff I was talking about. This was the theme of today's show. 35 killer business tips. I think I gave you more than 35 because I really care about making sure you get exactly what you want. I deliver every single day and there's loads of different content. And what I want you to see is, first of all, you make some great notes that help your business. But also, if you're looking to become a budding speaker, contact me through the industry icon details that I gave earlier, because I'm showing you how to generate at least an hour's worth of keynote content every single day. People don't know how to do that because the new business model is becoming a consultant and being able to help the people you're working with move on, not just doing a keynote. They pay for you to be with them for a whole year rather than just for one evening to do that special thing. That thing you do, you sort of thing. So with that, you need to be able to see how it all works and come together. That's what this show is all about. The Toilet Paper Diaries reached its 75th birthday, or 75th episode, with myself and Ernesto de Verdugo. I may play that for you tomorrow if you're very good. 75th episode is really funny. If not, go on social media, have a look at YouTube and so on. It is there. Ooh, how's my coffee going? Hello, Dave. Hello, coffee. But it's there for you, but I may share some of it with you tomorrow because it's kind of cool. Meanwhile, don't be a stranger. Connect with me on all social media. Subscribe to my YouTube. I look forward to sharing more goodies with you. I'm going to play us out with a motivational video called Fair Play. All my videos are done in one take. All my videos are done by holding up my phone. All my videos are done, and I add all the bits and bobs later, and I have no idea what I'm going to say when I start saying it, but it kind of works out to be kind of cool. I think so. You might not. I don't care. Love having you with me. It's always a pleasure. You rock, and I look forward to hearing about your businesses flourishing, and at some point we'll be out of the lockdown. We'll just go, gosh, do you remember when Dave used to talk a lot? And you'll go, yeah, still does. Speak on stage. I'm sorry. I didn't explain. I tried to motivate you and move you forward, but quite clearly all I brought you was pain. Tried to share some ideas and I didn't do enough to show you what I really meant, because it left you feeling confused, and afterwards your brain was spent. And I should have used smaller words and I should have been more than enough, but somehow it ended up making you feel bad, and it was kind of tough, and you wanted to have me stop and go back again, and maybe you weren't paying attention, and then you feel like you've stayed at school and you've been naughty and you're in detention, and you want to get me sharing with you more stuff, and I gotta do more for you. And you don't want to pay for it because, you know, I could get this off the internet too. But my friend told me this, and, you know, they're into the same kind of stuff as you, but I don't see why I should pay or I should make the effort, because I want it to come in a bottle as well. And if I get it in a bottle, I get it in a pill form, I'll never have to do much work. But it doesn't work that way. None of it does. If you want to get something out of life, you've got to get off your ass and move. You've got to look around and see where you come from. You've got to make a decision. Where are you going to go? And how do you think they get there, all those stars? How do you think they get there, all those people who turn around and say, I'm amazing, I'm a Kardashian, I'm on the front of a newspaper, I'm on the front of a website, I'm an influencer, I'm a celebrity, I'm super rich, I'm super powerful? Do you think they all got it for free? Well, some did, and some didn't. Some worked their asses off, and some still do. And some people wait, and some people complain, and we don't realize how easy it is, and that might be you. One day won't matter. We'll have no time left, and people will say to you, did it matter to you how hard you worked? How many people helped you? And the answer will be no. All that matters is, what did I get out of it? And the best way to judge is that smile you have right now, or that frown that won't go away. It's your choice. It's your life. And for me, yeah, I'm gonna play.